Warning, incoming dad joke. Warning, incoming dad joke.
Hey, Brian, what do you get when you cross a snowman with a vampire?
I don't know, Mark. What do you get when you cross a snowman with a vampire?
Frostbite.
Who is your daddy, and what does he do?
It was like a pink nightmare.
Christmas has a Yule log. Not a log, I don't have a log, but it's...
All that I have, all that I've learned, everything I feel, all this and more I bequeath you, my son.
Your father was Frankenstein, and your mother was the lightning.
We named the dog Indiana.
I am your father.
No, you're not, sir. Greetings and welcome to another always thrilling episode of Three Geeky Dads, the show that has Clarence Williams III calling us the shit. I still seem to be Mark, and joining me as always are the Snoops to my dog, Derek. Oh, that's you. I don't have to say that. You can say your own name.
D-Rizzle.
Oh, nice.
Brian.
D-Rizzle.
D-Rizzle.
And B-Rye.
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 Be ride or die.
There you go.
That works. I like Brian better. Hey, and no episode would be complete without the X-Men Origins Wolverine to our series, Tito, unless you want some cool name too.
No, I'm just going.
Fine, you're just Tito.
I'm gonna be
Tito's
Brian.
a pretty badass
You're
name himself.
Tito.
Brian.
I'm gonna go. Brian's my badass name
Okay.
with an A.
Oh, Brian.
You're mixing it up here.
Brian. Tonight we continue our sleigh ride through the holiday season with our month of requests made by you, our friendly, fun, and faithful listeners. This week we're spending some holiday time in the hood. And no, not with the boys, but with the man Clarence Williams III from the Mod Squad, who is crypt keepering it up for us with ghastly tales of horror, humor, and the shit. Yeah, it's never going to get old. I'm never going to stop saying it because it's fun. This movie was requested to us from one of our longtime loyal listeners, Jim Hamill, who asked us to take another look at this overlooked and underappreciated movie that not only offers us standard scares and thrilling fun, but also thought-provoking tales dealing with issues and horrors that are, sadly, still very, very relevant today. But before we dive into a world of crypts, bloods, and crypts with bloods in them, or blood in them, rather, our own Vanilla Ice of all things vanilla-flavored Brian is whipping up a delicious appetizer to start us off.
Can you pass some maple syrup, please?
I didn't put... It's spaghetti.
You know what? I think I have something. Yes.
You like sugar, huh?
Is there sugar and syrup?
Yes.
Then yes. We elves try to stick to the four main food groups. Candy, candy canes, candy corns, and syrup.
Ice Brian.
Thank you, I think. So
Go Ninja.
go Ninja, go.
Go, Ramsey.
Go right
Ramsey,
out that door. So tonight, as Mark mentioned in his intro, we will be looking at Tales from the Hood, a horror anthology movie with, spoilers, a twist ending where the narrator of our urban legend-like scary stories turns out to be the devil himself. And just as, at this festive time of year, people like to celebrate Christmas with Secret Santa gifts, we dyslexic dads thought it would be a fun idea to gift all of you an appetizer about Secret Satan movies. Films where, just like in tonight's film, a character turns out to be a smidge more sinister than the audience was originally led to believe.
WNBC.
Smidge more sinister.
That was awesome.
And just after the festive time of year, people like to celebrate Christmas with Secret Santa gifts. We just like to dads like to think it would be fun to give all of you an appetizer about Secret Satan movies.
I feel like I need to be the fourth caller to win a contest or something. Nice job, Brian. Nice. DJ Brian. That's your new name. DJ Jazzy Brian and the Fresh Ramsey.
There you go.
So I started the appetizers last week. So Derek, you're
me?
this off. Aw, me?
Damn.
I'll go
yeah.
first.
I'll go.
Okay.
I'll go. I'll get mine out of the way. Mine is, you should have seen it coming because it's called Devil, and with a fun little elevator going down thing. For
What a twist!
exactly. This is like an underrated. I think underrated. There's a lot of people that didn't like this movie, and I really enjoy it. It takes place in an elevator, and there's like a small group of people that are trapped in it. One of them is the devil, and you know, you basically spend the whole movie trying to figure out which one is the guy. It's got Target version, Tom Hardy, Logan Marshall Green.
Okay.
Yeah, he was in Upgrade, and he did a really good horror movie called The Invitation.
Oh yeah.
I still haven't seen that one. I haven't seen that one.
But
It's got the
Is that the one with the vampires that just came out? That Invitation?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it was an older independent film.
There's a lot of invitations.
I guess so.
It has the mom from King of Queens.
Jenny O'Hara?
Yeah.
Well, and that's what we're getting. She, spoiler.
Yeah, all these are going to be spoiled. So
It is Jenny O'Hara, the old lady who turns out to be the devil, and it's a great reveal. Like the reveal itself is great. Her performance is great.
Yeah.
It's a fun movie, and I like it.
I liked it too, and I remember because M. Night Shyamalan produced it, but he didn't direct it. And they kind of put his name all over it, which was probably a mistake.
Because it really wasn't.
See it.
I remember when this movie came out, and they said that, like, people seeing the trailer saw his name come up, and they were laughing.
Yeah.
It was like that point in Shyamalan's career.
Yep.
So he came up with the story. He didn't even write the screenplay.
Post
He came up with
Avatar,
the story.
The Last Airbender.
The director was John Eric Dowdle, and he did movies. He's known for No Escape.
I remember liking that movie. I've seen it a couple of times.
No
No,
Doubt?
Devil.
Oh,
Devil.
yeah. I mean, I've heard people talk crap about it and kind of laugh it off, but it's enjoyable. It's fun.
Yeah, for being trapped in a single space for an entire film, they do a very good job, I think.
And it's a whodunit thing, which
basically,
you like the whodunit
because they all kind of have their own motives. They like as the movie progresses, they're like each of them are exposed for the type of person they really are and what awful things that they've done.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know,
I saw it.
And yeah.
I thought it was all right. I'd see it again.
See you again.
I'll see you again too.
Hell.
All right. Already there, Tito. All right. So I went with a television show. I went with an episode from The X-Files because this is actually one of my favorite Satan reveals, and it's called. It's the episode called Die Hand die Verletzt, which is German for the hand that wounds. Fun fact. See, I'm smart. Didn't look it up. I knew that. It's about a group of school teachers who are also Satanists who practice the dark arts on their students and in the class. At the same time, a new substitute teacher named Miss Paddock also arrives, and the teachers perform their latest ritual. Students begin dying, as do the teachers, and we learn that Miss Paddock, this sweet little, you know which episode I'm talking about?
No, I don't remember.
I don't remember that one either.
This one, it had Bulldog from Frasier in it. Yeah, actually, I think he might have been the principal.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. It was season 2, and she's revealed to be the devil at the end. Like it was her pulling the strings all along, and it's very cool. She disappears before Mulder and Scully can capture her.
Of course she does.
Played by Susan, I'm going to butcher this name. Blumer, thank you, who you might know from Pet Sematary, the old Pet Sematary. She's the house's help, I guess. She says, going to go get the cat's balls chopped off. She's been a judge on various Law and Order episodes. You know her if you see her. She's like this little petite older lady, and that's what's cool. It's like, oh, she's the devil. So
I never understand like when devil shows and movies like that where they kill off their own people, like people that are worshiping them.
Well, they were abusing their. You have to see the whole episode.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, no, they didn't. She didn't just show up and was like, "Thanks for summoning me." Die. They were abusing their powers, and they were fucking everything up for her. So that's why she ended up doing it.
Okay.
That's mine.
Yeah.
What a lovely singing voice she must have.
So technically no devil reveal in my movie. It's The Ninth Gate with the Johnny Depp.
With the Johnny Depp.
The Johnny Depp. I mean, it was directed and written by the devil, Polanski. So there's that big reveal.
There you go.
But essentially, he's a
Nice
he's a-
segue to
I don't know
that.
if you guys have seen it. He's like a curator of sorts.
Bookkeeper or something.
Yeah,
right?
he's hired to verify the authenticity of this book that's said to open the ninth gate of hell to get Lucifer over. And there's a female character who is kind of following him, kind of helping him the whole time, but you don't ever know who her name is, or I'm sorry, what her name is, or what her end game is, and you realize that 3 different books each hold a piece to opening the gate. They have sex, it opens the gate, he doesn't realize, and you think it's got an ending, and then she just kind of disappears, and you kind of realize that she is some kind of maybe demon. Her like eyes are all crazy and shit, they're having sex. It's pretty cool. And then it ends. The gates are opened, and the end's kind of weird, but
I remember the first half of this movie being good.
It's very
And then
good.
it
When you
just
get to that
tapers
part,
off.
you're like, I mean, she's naked, so that's cool. But
naked's always good.
But then it's just like, it's kind of lackluster. You're like, oh, that's kind of a cool twist, but then there's no real payoff. And
They should
the
remake
devil
that movie
doesn't
with
come
Ana de
out,
Armas.
and
Yeah.
that would be great.
That's what they should do.
And have Bryan Singer direct it, just to keep
Keep in line with the
Keep,
original.
keep the creep factor up.
And who's that? Frank Langella's in it. He's the only.
Oh, he's always good.
I
Nice.
really
Yeah.
know.
Skeletor.
But yeah, it was a while ago. I haven't seen it in a while, but I like the movie, but the end is a little dicey. But I like the reveal of her actually working for the devil to help him unlock the gates of hell.
Nice.
All right.
Hell.
That works. That works.
Yeah, it's a reach, but that's all I got.
We'll allow it this time, but next time stick to the material, please.
I know. Well, Brian was naming so many, I was like, fuck, I'm fucked.
You could have picked any one of those.
I didn't want to. I wanted to
picked
be
any
a
one of them.
surprise.
Because none of those were the ones that I was going
Now,
with.
if you hadn't have left the classroom when the bell rang, you would have heard the assignment.
Yeah, you get a fucking 10 on this, Tito.
So mine is Something Wicked This Way Comes from 1983.
Nice.
Starring Jason Robards, Diane Ladd, Jonathan Pryce, and the first thing I ever remember seeing him in, and he was awesome in it. And a young Pam Grier.
Yeah, that's right. She was in that.
Yeah, she was like the witch queen or something, like his assistant. But anyway, this deals with 2 boys, Will Holloway, and this guy's got the best name, Jim Nightshade. They're 2 12-year-old best friends and neighbors, and they're in this like little picturesque Illinois town. One night, the boys overhear a mysterious train running through the woods behind their houses, and they run out of their house to see what's going on. They see the train arrive, but they don't see a soul. Shortly after that, they find Mr. Dark's Pandemonium Carnival is already set up and ready for people to come and enjoy it, and they start snooping around. They soon realize that weird stuff is happening. People start changing in the town. They start to realize that it might be this Mr. Dark, the head of the carnival. It might be behind everything. And they're right. He is. He basically turns out to be Satan in the end, and he's there to basically claim everybody's souls. And it was a really creepy, believe it or not, Disney film.
Yeah.
From 1983. Back in the day when they did this was around the time of the Black Cauldron and Watcher in the Woods we had mentioned before. They were doing some really dark stuff around that time. And unfortunately, this is one that I haven't
they had
seen.
more edge to them back then.
Yeah.
They did. This is a movie I haven't seen probably since then, haven't seen it since the mid-'80s.
I think, is it on Disney Plus?
It's not. I've looked.
Damn.
And neither is Watcher in the Woods, because that's another one I'd love to revisit from that era.
Oh, I remember that one.
Yeah.
Needful
Lynn
Things
Holly
always
Johnson.
made me think of this movie.
Yes, a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, the creepy stranger shows up and weird
and
stuff
the way
starts
that,
happening.
like in the town, change like the people. And bring out the worst in people.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot more that goes on in this movie, and it was based on a story by Ray Bradbury, who I guess wrote the screenplay, but they changed it a lot on him. I guess he clashed a lot with the director. And then the director ended up clashing with Disney because Disney made further changes to it, and there's supposedly a director's cut out there somewhere that nobody has seen, but I'm sure it's wonderful because even what we did see, I enjoyed the movie for what it was, and I would love to see the original, more scary version of it if it's out there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'd check that out.
I'd love to see
I like that movie.
I would love
like
to see
that movie as well.
any version of this movie again. I just haven't seen it in 83, so it's coming up on 40 years for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Awesome movie.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's streaming on anything.
No, it's
I
not.
don't remember seeing it on anything
It's
either.
not, unfortunately. That and Watcher in
Nothing
the
on
Woods.
Disney Plus. Watcher in the Woods isn't on Disney Plus
No,
either, huh?
nope. But
Weird.
yeah, you guys are both searching.
I was looking on Vudu because I was going to buy it. Nope.
I wish it was available. Because I would chip in for that one, Derek. I would buy that one for you to put on your Voodoo so I can watch it.
Someday, Brian.
Someday.
All right, awesome.
So that's nice.
Awesome
Nice. Very good pick.
appetizers. Good.
Nice.
Let's get to the main course. We got
All
a lot
right.
to
Let's
cover,
do
man.
it.
Honey, we said no gun talk at the dinner table.
This family needs a little gun talk, whether it's at the dinner table or anywhere else. You know what I'm saying?
Looks like Chrissy's really enjoying my gravlax.
Careful, kids. Remember that your Aunt Sarah likes everything to be clean and perfect, and that's why she makes so much food that you can't pronounce.
Well, I just thought you guys might like a break from macaroni and cheese with hot dogs.
Yeah, okay.
Well, you were wrong. And who doesn't make a ham at Christmas? What are you?
When I was a kid growing up in Bridgewater, a town that was predominantly white at the time, my idea of what it was like to be African American pretty much came from sitcoms and what music I heard on WZOU.
Well, you see, Mark, you gotta put on a really cool sweater.
Exactly. That's what I thought it was all about. And while I was aware of racism and its history as it was taught to me in school, I was too young to fully grasp how horrible it had been, nor was I aware just how much of it was still going on. The mid to late 90s, when I had come across a few films that really opened my eyes, Boys in the Hood, New Jack City, Menace to Society, Four Weddings and a Funeral. No, I'm kidding. Gotta keep it. I don't want to get too preachy, so I'm keeping it light. See, that's what good writing
Keeping it light,
is.
yeah, just
very light.
You'll never take me alive, coppers.
A lot of cream in your coffee there, Mark.
Suddenly, it was like going from Belle Biv DeVoe to Public Enemy. Despite its poor marketing and face value supernatural themes, and while when first heard, one might think that a movie with a silly title and a standard horror synopsis could help spark this revelation in my head, Tales from the Hood was more than just another horror anthology. It was a movie that really focused on the nightmarish issues that have unfortunately not subsided. In fact, they seem to have suffered a resurgence. Corrupt cops, racism and racist figures in power, gun violence, gang violence, child abuse, spousal abuse, drug abuse, all are woven into this anthology that offer truly thought-provoking tales, blanketed in the traditional horrors of ghosts, demons, killer dolls, and monsters. So for our friend Jim Hamill, who not only requested this episode, but also happened to be the friend I first saw this movie with way back in the day, this one's for you, Jim. So, opening thoughts. I pretty much said mine, so I don't need to repeat them.
No, I saw it a long time ago, and it was fun because it wasn't as scary as the other like Tales movies. But rewatching it, like it's sad that not much has changed. This movie was made in 1995, and the fact that we still live in a world that a lot of this is very relevant and topical. It's sad.
Yeah. Well, the scary things in this movie are not the monsters.
No. Yeah, no,
exactly.
Exactly. I don't think I grasped that as a kid. I mean, like I was also from Bridgewater, and like you said, mostly white. There were a few African American families that we grew up with, and you don't really know any of the hardships or the stuff that you learn about when you're older.
Right.
And so this is definitely an eye-opening movie for those who aren't familiar with that stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I liked it too. And I didn't see this movie back in the day when it first came out. I didn't see it until we all watched it. And I liked it. I liked it a lot. And the other night I rewatched it again, and I like the fact that it's like a good Twilight Zone episode, or a bunch of good Twilight Zone episodes. It's a bunch of cautionary tales wrapped in a supernatural kind of spooky story.
Yeah.
And it's a morality play in the end, basically. And it's just brilliantly done.
Yeah.
For this little movie that kind of slipped under my radar all these years, I was surprised at how much I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's much more Twilight Zone than Tales from the Crypt.
It really
Totally.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like it. I like it a lot. It's good.
And he's awesome.
Oh, everybody's awesome. It's got such a great cast.
Yeah.
The cast is
and there's not one clunker in all the stories.
No,
they're all really good. They're all really strong stories.
Yeah. Tito.
Yeah, this is a movie I saw years ago, and I probably didn't become like I've seen a lot of horror movies. I'm probably more of a horror fan now than I ever was, but it wasn't that scary. It wasn't a movie that was really scary to me, and I definitely didn't understand the underlying issues in the film, or a lot of them are 'cause it comes out like 3 years after like Rodney King, so I understood that.
There's a lot of social
those issues,
commentary,
the social commentary, things like that. So I understand that stuff, but for me it was like a bunch of people that I knew in a movie, like David Alan Grier and Joe Torre and like Paul J. Parker. Like I recognize all these people as funny people. So in a certain way, it's and it is, some of it's funny and very comical. Right. That's always how I saw it. It's not till later in life that I'm like, man, David Alan Grier is really fucking good as this, abusive
total asshole,
stepdad, whatever. Yeah, like he is a straight up monster.
It's such
He's
a departure
amazing.
of everything else that he's done.
Yeah. And and seeing all the little things like the Crazy K, and the connection to I didn't see Clockwork Orange till I was like in my mid-20s. Yeah. So I see no connection there growing up. But yeah, it was a lot of my friends saw it. I saw, again, movies like, Above the Rim, New Jack City, Menace to Society. They were just movies we were supposed to see, so we saw them. They had hip-hop soundtracks. Right. They might have some rappers in the film or actors that were associated with hip-hop or, black culture, black American culture. So it was like, you got to see it. And it was just always like a fun movie. And I love anthologies, even horror ones. So this was always, Tales from the Dark Side and this were always like ones I always like loved growing up. So, but yeah, and it's a fun, interesting film.
Yeah,
for sure.
It is fun. And while, we talk about the issues and the underlying political stuff, whatever, it's still very entertaining. It's done just right, where it never stops to really get preachy.
It's got a very fine line to walk, and it walks it well.
Absolutely. You're entertained, but then, like
You're right,
I was...
it doesn't get preachy at all.
But when I was done seeing it, it got me thinking. I said, whoa, there's really more going on than what I know from... what's being taught to me or what I'm seeing. Again, like I said, on TV or anything. Wow, there's there's a lot of stuff, and it's still going on. Yeah. And again, that's
it's
really
sad to say, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go through the synopsis. I'll just go through each story, and we'll talk a little bit about it. We'll start with Welcome to My Mortuary, which is the prologue. Our opening story takes place in southern Los Angeles. Three drug dealers, Doug Drillers. We're off to a fucking bang right there.
Dig dog.
Drug dealers. Three drug dealers named Stack, Ball, and Bulldog. Great names. Better than the ones we came up with, I think. Well, I don't know. Brian's pretty good. That's
right. With an A.
Brian with an A.
That's street for sure.
Stack, Ball, and Bulldog stand before Sims' funeral home where they are to meet Mr. Sims the mortician, who claims to have found some drugs that he wishes to unload. He asks the dealers to join him inside to help him get the drugs. The three dealers follow Mr. Sims through the mortuary where they come across a few open caskets, each with a corpse that comes with an unusual story, which Mr. Sims gleefully shares with the three boys. So this is pretty much the opening. Nothing too much to talk about other than the three actors are hilarious together.
Yeah.
And
they just want to get the shit and get out of there.
Get the shit. Let's just get the shit and move on.
But Mr. Sims is more interested in telling the tales.
How are you going to kill something that's already dead?
Yeah.
That's like refried beans. Like this.
Yeah. Who wants to refry a
bean? Yeah.
And it's great, like knowing the end, the shit is... They don't even know what the shit is.
I think the shit is they're gonna burn in hell.
Yeah, right. But they don't know what the shit is. They're like, give us the shit because they're just continuing to think they're living their lives. So the shit is whatever. They're just so used to there being a thing that they want that they're gonna.
That they're gonna
take from someone that they're like, the shit. They don't even correct them at any point. No. They're like, no, we're talking about cocaine. Or something like that. No, it's just like the shit.
No, it's
drugs.
It's just a MacGuffin that's driving it forward.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it's hilarious.
It's a literal piece of poop.
It just keeps going and going and going. They never stop saying
and
the
also knowing who Clarence Williams III is, going back and watching it. It makes his performance even more enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, definitely.
Because he's fucking with these guys, and he's having a lot of fun.
Yeah,
he's going for it.
Unless, of course, you're scared. I mean, I remember that in the trailer, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool." So they come across the first body, and we get to the first story, which is called "Rogue Cop Revelation." A young black rookie police officer named Clarence, on his first night out, is on patrol with three white officers, Newton, Billy, and Strom. They are in the middle of a seemingly routine traffic stop where they have pulled over a well-dressed black man and have asked him to step out of the car. The three white cops begin harassing him, breaking his taillight and accusing him of drug possession. The scene escalates when the man verbally defends himself, only to have the three cops start beating him. Clarence, scared and confused, is ordered by the others to run the man's license plate. It is soon discovered that the well-dressed black man is a city councilman and a black rights activist named Ezekiel Morehouse, who Clarence had not recognized in all the confusion. Clarence confronts the cops, pulling them away from Morehouse. Before things get worse, Clarence is pulled away by Newton to go call it in and basically keep Clarence occupied while Strom and Billy plant drugs in Moorhead's car and then push both it and Morehouse into the water. 1 year later, Clarence has left the police force and has since become a drunk haunted by guilt. He is called by the ghost of Moorhead to help avenge his death by bringing Strom, Newton, and Billy to his grave. At the gravesite of Moorhead, Clarence watches as Strom and Billy piss on the headstone as an act of pride when they are attacked by Moorhead's corpse rising from the grave, ripping out Billy's heart. He then chases Strom and Newton, who get in their car and try to drive away. Moorhead eventually rips off Strom's head and chases Newton into an alley where he uses his powers to attack Newton with used crack needles and drive him into a wall, where he becomes part of a mural. Clarence and Moorhead meet one last time, where Moorhead refuses Clarence forgiveness, saying it was far too late for any sort of redemption. Utterly terrified, Clarence is left to die in an insane asylum. I think this is probably one of the best out of the bunch for me, because it has an awesome cast. This is a great cast. Michael Massey, Dwayne Whitaker, Wings Hauser.
Zed's boy, the mustache guy.
The mustache
Zed's
guy.
dead.
That's
his boy,
Zed's
right?
Boy, yep.
The one that's trying to rape.
He's the one who watches watches the sodomizing of Ving Rhames.
Ving Rhames, yeah. I think that's the only other thing I've ever seen him in.
I've seen him in. I think it was in Devil's Rejects. I've seen him. I've seen him in a bunch of shit. He has a small part as a TV talk show host.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Dwayne Whitaker.
Dwayne Whitaker. And
he never shaved that mustache.
No,
I'll tell you this much.
No, he didn't. But he is best remembered for watching for the pawn shop as the pawn shop owner in Pulp Fiction.
Yep.
So I really like this one. Thoughts on this one before I move on?
I mean, it's the one that hits home the most. Really, like the whole thing with the cops and the fact that he's a black officer.
Yeah.
And he's, taking part in all this, even though not directly. And it makes you think, like, that this is, the type of situation that a lot of black officers find themselves in.
Right.
Where they're standing by as racism is acted out right in front of them. And it's kind of like what would you do? Like, how would you have handled it?
And he's not forgiven.
No, and he doesn't forgive himself
which is mind blowing because he's in the way he's just as guilty.
Yeah, absolutely.
As the three white cops who don't do anything, and his punishment is slow. If you think about it, he's left to basically
slowly rot away. Exactly.
That's his complacency that's kind of made him guilty. Yeah, this is a great story. I like the idea. Rusty Cundieff is not necessarily attacking all police.
No.
But making it a very specific thing where these group of police are doing this bad thing and he wants it to stop.
Right.
Not to say that the idea of, that brotherhood, that unbroken thing, like we don't rat on each other, which is in so many things and aspects of life.
Yeah.
But you see it a lot when it comes to police, and one does something and the group kind of sticks with them because of that brotherhood. It's really they're trying to take it out on this guy specifically for they see it as a negative, right? They are doing this terrible thing. Not only are they dealing drugs, but they're dealing drugs in like the areas that this gentleman is trying to help make better. Right. So they're not taking these drugs and they're not bringing them to their own neighborhoods. They're bringing them to other neighborhoods that they don't have to deal with, the families that live there and the people that are residing in these areas, homeless or otherwise. I always think actually it's all in his head. I think he kills the cops. And then he ends up in a insane asylum.
And that's why
you might be right. Might be right.
I always saw it as that, like he's haunted by this, and it drives him mad, and then he takes his revenge out on these guys. The Morehouse, the zombie, I fucking love the way they do it because he's slow, he's walking, and he just appears. Every time they turn their head, there he is. He's on top of the car. Oh, we lost him. Look behind, and then you look behind. He's on the back of the car, and he's just fucking like rocking back and forth. It's so very cool. and the villains are really, really great villains.
Yeah.
And I think the actor who plays the black cop, I think he's all right. I think he's decent. He does a good enough job. But and it's hard for me to detach Morehouse from his character in Seinfeld sometimes when I watch it.
Oh, you really screwed me this time.
You got Costanza.
So Tom Wright is the hitchhiker from Creepshow 2, the Thanks for the Ride Lady guy. So this is his second time.
Are you kidding? It's the same
playing
guy?
a dead guy hanging off a car in an anthology. Yeah. Well,
Talk about typecasting.
He was a stunt guy. Yeah. He's really good at it.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Well, and it's funny you talk about like the neighborhood, like what the cops were really, what their plan was and everything. And I mean that's something that happens in real life and that I've seen in other movies too. The gentrification and the new Candyman deals a lot with that.
Yeah.
Oh, I still haven't seen that, and I really want to because I like that actor a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it is. I think that this one is the most up to date, topical, like still relevant out of all of them.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I might have to agree with you on that one. I mean, maybe the next story, but this one for sure.
Oh, the Walter story is like an
which is-
age-old tale, though.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
like,
that one's
the tale
not
as old
going
as
away.
time. Right, it's the Walter
I mean,
True as it may be.
Right.
I would say the least supernatural one out of all of them is the doll one, which is the third story. But that's just good because of a awesome performance from Corbin Burnson. I think Benson.
Oh, that's
Corbin
right.
Burnson. But we'll get to that. So that story finishes, and then we're back in the mortuary where they go to the next body, and you don't see what the body looks like, but the three guys are taken aback by what they're seeing. They're disgusted, and they're saying, "What the hell happened to him?" And he's like, "Oh, well, here's the story. I'll tell you." They said it a lot cooler than I did, but I feel like
Well, here you go.
Here's the thing: like
The
I
shit.
feel like if I'm going to start talking like these guys, I'm going to come off racist, even though I'm not. So I'm doing the airplane translation for the jive talking guys. In Airplane.
Shit,
like
brother, my mama didn't make no dummy.
Yeah.
Golly.
That's a phenomenal scene. in
That is
movie,
an
by the
awesome
way.
scene. But I feel like that's what I'll be doing.
Stewardess, I speak jive.
Yeah. June Cleaver. So this next one is called Boys Do Get Bruised. A boy named Walter Johnson is claiming that a monster is coming into his room and hurting him. At school, he draws pictures of what the monster looks like. His teacher, Richard Garvey, notices that Walter has been coming into class with bruises and attributes it to Tyrone, a bully who's been beating up on Walter. While visiting the school nurse, Richard and she find bruises that Walter claims had not come from Tyrone, but rather a monster, the same monster from the pictures he drew. A few days later, Walter shows up with fresh bruises. Richard keeps the boy inside during recess, where he watches Walter draw pictures of the monster and also of Tyrone. Walter mentions how he learned a way to kill the monster, that by drawing a picture and then destroying it, this would get rid of the monster. After Richard leaves, Walter crumbles up the picture of Tyrone, who at the same time suffers spontaneous injuries. The actual Tyrone suffers. Unexplained.
Because he's getting crumpled
Doesn't
up.
make sense. That's
Yeah,
right.
it's crushed.
Later that night, Richard visits Walter's house. His mother, Sissy, is there and claims that Walter is just a clumsy kid. Sissy's boyfriend, Carl, comes home and after an awkward conversation, tells Sissy to see Richard out. He then goes upstairs and abuses Walter for telling his teacher and drawing pictures of him as a monster. Sissy tries to stop him, but Carl begins to beat up on her. Outside, still unable to leave the situation, Richard hears screams and heads back into the house where he fights with Carl. Walter grabs the picture of the monster and starts folding and crumpling it up. Carl begins to twist and turn into a heap of flesh. Sissy steps on the crumpled paper, killing Carl. The monster has been destroyed. And that's basically the synopsis of that one. First and foremost, the actor who plays Garvey is also director.
Rusty Cundieff is the
good
teacher.
actor. This is another great cast. This is David Alan Grier, like you haven't seen him before.
No.
So good in this.
You know, as I said, at this point in life, what I was used to seeing was in living color.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Or I'm going to get you, sucker.
yeah. So
right,
we're
right.
going
Comedy.
from hated it
Yeah.
to,
Yeah,
know,
right.
bitch, I'm going to fuck
Yeah.
you. And it was
Yeah.
this.
Oh, you like to draw people monsters, huh, motherfucker?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
There's some unintentional funny parts to this though. When he
which I
shows
really
up into
like.
the room
Yeah.
and you hear him with his demon voice and he's like, Walter, you little motherfucker. I can't
Which I
help
almost
but
feel
laugh.
maybe intentional only because the subject matter is so like
It's out
touchy
there, yeah.
that there has to be like the moment where he's just the puddle and it's his face and he's like, I'm not done with you yet, bitch. You're like, that's, I laugh every
And then
time.
they burn the piece of
Then
paper
they
to
burn
make
him.
sure.
I laugh every time
make
I
sure
see
he's
that.
dead.
Like,
But that's what I love about that. When this shit happens to him, he doesn't stop and say what's going on or help.
No. Yeah.
He's like, "This isn't over. I'm still coming for you." Like this guy is.
I'm gonna pull myself together.
relentless.
When I do,
Somehow
you're all dead.
I'm gonna
untie
find a way.
myself. I'm gonna
I
get out
love
of
the
the
effect
square
of that.
knot you can put me into.
Do you notice that when Carl goes into Walter's room, the shadow on the wall is the same design as the devil's design? And
Oh
do you
yeah, I
think
can see that.
There's any?
Yeah.
Oh no, I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
You only ever see
relevance
the
to it?
hands. He's got like the green hands,
You
but the
see the
shadow
green-
is definitely the devil's
It's the
shadow.
same, the same horns, the same shape. So
I don't know if it's I don't know if it's an intentional or if it's like
possessed by
a
the devil?
It's the only
financial.
effect we have. So.
Yeah, right. It's a
Maybe
money
nobody will
thing
notice.
or, but great. This is my favorite.
Yeah.
It is just because David Alan Grier is so insane in this fucking thing. He just steals it for me because Rusty Cundieff is in it and he's fine.
Yeah.
He's okay.
Yeah.
He throws a real lazy punch, right? He gets his ass kicked. You're like, oh, this is terrible fight choreography.
And it's really, like you said, awkward. Like,
totally.
It is very awkward
It
when
is.
he's at the house and the whole like the stuff with Sissy and when
Well,
Carl
she's
comes
hitting
home.
on him.
Well, and when
Yeah.
Carl comes
Yeah.
home, it's like it's very awkward.
Yeah, it gets kind of weird. Apparently, the scene where David Alan Grier beats her was supposed to be much longer.
Oh,
And
yeah?
when they originally screened it, people started laughing.
Really?
When he hits her because they thought it was funny, and then it just kept going and going and going,
Wow.
and then the place got real quiet and uncomfortable because they were like, "Oh my god, this is
is
not
for
it."
real.
Because
Yeah.
if you see it when he hits her, he's got this like open hand palm kind of
Yeah.
weird like delivery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even their fight is just very like slapsticky, not
But even
very
his
good.
facial expressions are kind of funny looking.
Yeah,
too.
right.
He's-
This intensity. So I think
Yeah.
the surprise of seeing David Alan Grier punch this woman in the face was taken as very comical to these people. So they start laughing. But
Yeah.
and it's fairly
But
long while you're watching.
I like
it.
the
Feels
idea.
long.
I like the idea though of an audience laughing and then growing uncomfortable.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
they should.
Yeah,
You know.
Right.
yeah, absolutely. Because it continues, and you're just like,
Yeah.
oh god, is this fucking?
Because
shitty
that's what
teacher gonna
happens.
step in?
Like
Yeah.
a real abuser doesn't stop. He doesn't just stop when after a few hits. Like they,
No.
Squeaky.
And even, again,
It
even
is squeaky.
even after he's all crumpled up, he still wants to
Yeah.
kick,
Oh, yeah.
kick
Yeah.
her ass.
Yeah.
He's not done. That's
like he did just the
That's
full of
fucking evil
anger and
personified,
hate
man.
and
Yeah.
exactly, and evil. Yeah.
totally.
The Walter character, I think, is really, really good.
Yeah, that kid is good.
When I go back to like movies that I love with like kids in them, I
Mm-hmm.
think I'm definitely more critical now than I was growing up because, but I think he does a really good job.
Yeah.
He reminds me of like Fool and like, who I also think is really,
People
really
Under
good
the
in People
Stairs,
Under the
yeah.
Stairs. When I go back and watch it, but he does a really good job. He's very convincing. And then funny people. And then the school nurses.
Oh my
Yeah,
God,
she
you're
was
right.
in Living Color
You're
too.
right.
David
Yes.
Allen Grier's in Living
Huh.
Color.
Yes.
Rusty Cundieff is a funny person who did. You ever see Fear of a Black Hat? Ever?
No.
No, but it's a
documentary.
documentary about a rap group.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
supposed to be like NWA, but it's
Yeah.
NWH.
I think it's on Prime.
NWH.
It's funny
Prime
as
has
hell.
It used to be on
Yeah.
Prime.
Yeah.
And that was the first thing he ever did, and then he goes right into this fucking horror movie, which is kind of insane. But and all he knows are funny people, so he gets a bunch of funny people in his movie to make this kind of serious, insane film.
I think that might have been part of the marketing problem. Like they were
possible.
passing it off as a comedy. I remember the trailer showing all the comedic parts,
Like Creep Show.
Yeah.
sort of like that.
Like
you
lure
know.
people in thinking
all
that they're
the
seeing.
funny lines.
Yeah.
I think I know a lot of audiences were
Like a
looking at it
scary
as a
movie,
parody,
kind
like
of.
a scary movie.
But I
thing.
think that's smart because you're
Yeah.
getting people into the theater that may not have seen if they knew.
Yeah, but it didn't get anybody into the theater. That was the problem. No one went and saw it until after.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I think it made like double whatever they spent on
it
it,
didn't do
which
very
wasn't
good.
much. I think they spent like $5 million. They made $11 million.
Yeah. It was one of those cases where the home video gave it new life. That kind of thing.
But it's got it's like it's a 40 acre and a mule production, so it's got Spike Lee's backing. So that alone should have got enough people in the theater to see it, but even that wasn't enough.
I wonder if it was one of those, well, this is too goofy to be scary, or this is too funny, or this is got monsters. It's going to be silly.
Yeah.
That's what I would imagine. I'd go see it, but
I mean, I see it now and I think Jordan Peele, and I'm like, well, it's kind of ahead of its time where you see where horror and even black horror has come. And how accessible it's become, and how not so strange it is to see black people make a horror film,
right?
Which it I think previously in previous years it had been kind of like, well, they're in the genre, but you don't necessarily see them making those films.
Hollywood,
in mainstream
right,
Hollywood, right.
In the cult world and in the grindhouse world, they were making them and making plenty of them.
Right, right, for sure.
So, People Under the Stairs. That's another one I should have put on that list. That was an eye opener
I
too.
love People Under the
that's a
Stairs.
great movie.
That's another one, and that's like Wes Craven dealing with the idea of gentrification, which is pretty amazing. Yeah,
I'm telling you, man, horror. It's ahead of its time.
Are you going to talk about What's in the Coffin?
Oh, I'll get there.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah. Oh, good call.
digress.
What's in this coffin?
What's in that coffin that they
so
can't
before
see?
we get to the next story, we do find out what the three guys are seeing in the coffin, and it is the mangled, heaping, burning, leftover flesh of David.
Well, there are two versions.
Really?
There's one version where Walter's in the casket, and there's one version where the charred body is in the casket.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh shit! I only had seen
Two different versions. The one I watched a couple of nights ago was the charred body, but
me too.
On television, I've seen the Walter version.
Really? I
No
don't
shit.
think I've ever seen the Walter version.
Wow.
He's just in a suit, just looking normal. Yeah.
Okay.
Which kind of doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
No,
it doesn't make sense.
Because he won.
But I think maybe that was studio influence. Was like, no, maybe not the charred corpse. Maybe the kid, or
yeah,
I don't know.
But that wouldn't justify
why
the
that feels
reaction
better
to the beginning.
Yeah, right.
Why would they be shocked?
Well, no, because it's a little kid.
Well, is it a little kid? Is he a little kid?
Yeah. He's how he looks in the story.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right, true. But the next story is called KKK Comeuppance, and this tells the tale of Duke Metger. He's a highly racist Southern senator who at one point was also a member of the Ku Klux Klan. Much to the chagrin and protest of the black community, who are already upset of him being allowed to hold the position given his history, Duke has lit the fires once more by setting up his office in an old plantation house previously owned by an ancestor named Nathan Wilkes. Nathan Wilkes was a slave owner who killed his slaves when they tried to revolt. Outside, there are reporters covering the protest. One of the reporters is confronted by a local man named Eli, and we all know Eli from
your boy
Fright Night. Yeah, Art Evans.
He's
throw
really
him in the jail forever. Get out of there. They don't want no people in there. They want peace. There ain't no peace.
He's really hamming it up in that one too.
He hams it up in everything he does. Remember him in Die Hard too? He's kind of like McLean's sidekick in that one. He's a little more subdued in that one.
He is dressed like he's walked off a plantation. I don't understand what his character is
he's
supposed to be.
He's like a scarecrow that came to life.
Yeah, right. I don't even.
Maybe he's a spirit too.
As much as I love this movie, I forgive.
I always kind of looked at it that way.
That he was. I thought he was like, maybe. He knew what's her name? I know it. Miss Cobbs.
Yeah.
An ancestor.
There's some connection where
connection to Miss Cobbs.
Maybe he's been there the whole time and they got kicked off the property.
Maybe he was one of the slaves that survived.
Yeah, it's possible. So his spirit lives on. I mean, everybody sees him.
Who knows? But they all do.
Just kind of like pulling the strings.
I like this movie so much. I forgive a lot of the bad acting in it.
Yeah.
Because for every good actor in this movie, there's one that's just like, oh man, you're kind of like Rusty Cundieff is not great.
I think he's okay.
He's passable. He's passable, but it's like,
nothing spectacular, but he's not bad.
Art Evans just really going for it, man. He's just going for it.
That's what he does. He's
Forever.
They don't want you in there.
Derek, do you need a little WD-40 for your Rusty Cundieff?
I know, Jesus. I can't, this is why I usually, at this point of the show, is when I usually stand up and tuck my chair in.
You're Rusty Cundieff. That's good. Forever.
Sure, kidding. I'm Dirty Harry. But he's Eli in this, and he goes on about the souls of the murdered slaves being trapped in these dolls that are placed all throughout the house. Back in the house, Mecker also happens to be discussing the legend with his image consultant, Rhodey Willis. They are looking at a mural which features an old woman named Miss Cobb, who was, legend states, a hoodoo witch that was able to transfer the souls of the slaves into the bodies of dolls that she carved. The dolls are also featured in this painting. According to legend, the dolls are still somewhere in the house, but Mecker has been unable to find them. Thinking nothing of it, Mecker and Rhodey start working on his media skills for future interviews, videos, etc. Rhodey is killed after tripping over one of the dolls, and he falls down the stairs, breaks his neck. At Rhodey's funeral, Mecker is once again confronted by Eli, who demands he leave, yet Mecker refuses.
Forever!
They want peace. They're not going to get peace. There's no peace in that house. So peace is the issue. Yes. Upon returning to his home, he finds a doll in his car, which he throws on the side of the road. That night, Mecker is tormented by the dolls and finds that as more of them appear, there are less dolls on that mural. At the end, as Mecker is overpowered by the dolls, he sees the image of Miss Cobbs. She has now gone off the mural, and she has manifested herself in front of him. She smiles as the dolls go in for the kill. Now, this one's more a simple
revenge
story.
Yeah.
It's a revenge story.
Yeah.
You know, it's...
But much like the first one, Rhodey he's a black guy.
Yep.
And he's helping this racist white guy, and so it makes you think, like, why is he doing this?
Well, not only that, but he even starts joking around.
He's
with
like,
him,
I've been hanging around with you too long.
Yeah, at first, when they first start talking and Metker's spouting all this racist stuff, he's disgusted. But as they start hanging out and
it doesn't take long either.
No, well, I mean, it's a short segment.
I know.
He's talking about, the only spooks I'm concerned are the ones with guns. And I mean, he's all
that callback
like,
is really funny though.
Yeah.
And he's like and he's like trying to remember. He's like, "You spooky reporters."
He's
He's like, "Oh, wait a minute!
He says, I can't say
I
that
wasn't
here."
supposed to say that." Okay, you spooky reporters, and he runs away. It's hilarious.
Hey, for any Samurai Cop fans out there, all three of you, Cameron, the redheaded sexy girl from Samurai Cop, and she's also like Worf's second in command on Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Oh, right, that's who she
never
is.
speaks.
Yeah. Right.
She's in this movie. She has no lines in this movie either.
no?
I don't think. She might
says
have
nothing.
one.
She's in one
She
scene.
just walks into the car where they find the doll, and that's it.
That's cute.
Oh,
right.
yeah.
They have sex
I
with their
call her
underwear
White
on.
Snake Lady.
And Samurai Cop. They're wearing their underwear.
Yeah.
She looks like Tawny Katane.
Yeah.
She
She looks
ever
like
see
Tawny
Samurai
Katane.
Cop?
No,
You
she
ever see
doesn't.
that?
I did see Samurai Cop.
They have sex
Yeah.
with
She's
them.
like
We watched it
she's
together, didn't we?
she's Robert Sadar's mean squeeze in that movie. Yeah, the Samurai
Poor girl.
Cop.
She's a nice looking lady.
I find her very appealing.
Yeah, so do
Cameron,
I.
she's fine.
She's fine.
She's fine. Yeah.
You know what's not appealing is any of those dolls.
No,
I don't like dolls.
No, I'm the same.
Those are not cuddly dolls.
They are
at
not.
all.
What a segue. I
Not
love
even
it.
that, but that mural, that fucking mural.
the
as I
murals,
spit.
yeah.
And that lady is creepy looking
She is.
in that.
You know who that is?
mural.
That's his mom. That's Rusty Cundiff's mom.
Is it
Really?
really?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Mr.
Wow.
Cundieff.
Yeah.
I'm sure she's lovely in real
Squeaky
life.
Cundieff.
His mom are both. His mom and dad are both in it.
Who's the dad?
He plays a preacher. I think it's the same one, or it's either that or it's the police one when he's standing on the city hall or whatever.
Oh, wait.
There might be a gentleman standing next to him. but
Crusty
yeah.
Cundieff.
Crusty.
Cundieff.
It's actually C. Period. Rusty Cundieff.
Yeah, they're weird. They're like not. They're not great dolls.
No, they're not.
No.
And I just have to say that the first time they showed the first doll, it looked like Will Smith to me. It did.
It's a Fresh Prince doll.
Angry Will
It did.
Smith.
It does.
It looked just like Will Smith.
It does.
Was it 6 Degrees of Separation, Will Smith,
Yeah,
or
I-
Independence Day, Will Smith?
I think it was more of a
I Am Legend.
I Am
yeah,
Legend.
Yeah, it's more I Am
Will
Legend Will Smith.
That's hilarious.
It made me think of the talking Urkel dolls.
Oh my God, you're
yeah, I
right.
remember those.
Yes.
I always wanted one, and I
Oh,
don't know
man.
why.
Repurposed.
I had a friend who had one. I was like, what a fucking stupid toy. I want it so desperately.
Will
my mom buy this for me?
A bunch of killer Urkel dolls.
Right? That would have been horrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did I do that? Did I do that? Did I do that?
It's weird. It's so silly because they're kind of good quality, but terrible quality at the same time.
Well, it's
like
dated.
she made them, but they.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the effects. I'm
no,
sorry,
yeah, well
not the
that
doll.
too, but I just like the idea of her making the doll. It's like that's kind of too advanced for you, old lady. I feel like you're not making a doll that looks that good, but
she
it
could have
still
been
looks
ahead of her
really
time,
bad for the
too, you know?
90s. You know, maybe
There wasn't much to do.
she was just sitting in that rocking chair. That makes I
Yeah,
suppose.
there's no TV back then.
The painting's not great in comparison to the. So here's the in comparison.
The art design of this segment is just awful.
It's true. Oh, it's totally. The mural
I
in the
didn't
first
say this
story, comparing the mural in the first story to this painting in the second story, that mural in the first story is amazing.
Well, because it's two different
Just
styles
amazing.
of art.
I
so-
know. I just
like
it bugs me. It just
Yeah.
it doesn't look as like if it's a period piece like that section where we're talking about like that old South.
Yeah.
It would be a better painting to me. I think. Whoever commissioned that painting, that owned that fucking giant plantation, got somebody good to paint that.
Well,
shit.
and why would he? Well, why would that? You know, they have a painting of that in there.
Yeah, and then they have a
in the
painting
place.
of it. That doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't.
Which is why I don't think it was never painted. Like that's the whole thing is that was their souls and it was their conduit.
That makes sense as to why they jump.
Yeah, 'cause
from
they
wall
vanish as they
to
come out.
True.
reality. Yeah, that's a good point.
You got me there, son.
You're welcome.
You got me there. That's good. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, you got to think deep with this movie.
Yo, you too. One last thing, I'm going to talk about Corbin Bernsen's performance. It is hysterical.
Yeah.
You know, the stuff that he came up with, a lot of it improvised. Apparently, he apologized to the cast and crew ahead of time, and he said, "Listen, guys, you know who I am in real life. I'm taking this to a wild place."
I feel like he probably does that a lot though, because even like in Major League, his character
He
is
plays
kind of
some
a little racist.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
He's a prick. He plays
Yeah.
a prick in a lot of things. And
Yeah.
I think he does it very well.
Yeah.
He plays
was good
prick
in
very
Psych.
well.
Yeah.
Sean's father
never
in
saw
Psych.
that.
Oh, really? Oh, he's
Yep.
great in that.
Because even
Speaking
when
of
he's like
Kiss, Kiss,
being
Bang, Bang
yeah,
earlier,
right.
too.
He's even
Oh,
when
that's
he's
right,
like,
he
you
is.
think
Yeah.
he maybe is a little bit nice, he still has that Corbin Bernstein thing about him.
Yeah.
where
He
it's
could,
like,
yeah.
He's a little bit
"No,
charming.
he sucks.
Hey, he tried to be nice to George Costanza on Seinfeld.
That's true.
Okay, he held his together and didn't tell him to fuck off. I got a great case for you. Okay, worst George Costanza ever. I got a great case for you. That's not true.
I got a great case for you.
Now we come to the last story, and this is kind of funny because the three guys react kind of strange to seeing this particular corpse. They know him, or rather, Mr. Sims knows that they know him, but we're not sure why, but we find out as we hear this story called Hardcore Convert. Jerome, a.k.a. Crazy K, is a homicidal gangster who has killed many people in his past. While driving one night, he passes by a rival of his named Lil Deke, whom he pursues and eventually guns down. In retaliation, Lil Deke's associates appear and shoot Crazy K. The three stand over him, faces in shadow and voices distorted, as they prepare to finish him off when the police arrive and gun them down in a shootout. Crazy K is left bleeding on the streets, but he is still breathing. While in jail, Crazy K is met by Dr. Cushing, who offers him a chance to be released from prison if he agrees to be the subject for a rehabilitation experiment. Crazy K agrees and is transferred to Dr. Cushing's facility, where he undergoes 3 experiments. Experiment 1 involves putting Crazy K with a super white supremacist. Experiment 2 involves showing Crazy K a series of images Clockwork Orange style. The images are a jumble of scenes involving drive-by shootings, lynchings, people being gunned down. The images grow more and more intense, accompanied by an awesome rap song, which I forgot to look at the soundtrack and find out who it was, but it's fantastic.
Could he never listen to that song again?
They never,
like
they
Alex did with the
never touched
Beethoven?
up. Well, he never got a chance because you'll find out. But I'm sure he probably couldn't had he.
No, not Ludwig van.
Well, I was like that before. Experiment 3 involves putting Crazy K in a dark room for a sensory test where he is confronted by images of the people he has killed. The experiment grows too much for him, and he manages to break free from his straps and threatens to kill a nearby nurse. Demanding to leave, he ignores Dr. Cushing's pleas for him to stick with it, and he eventually finds himself back where he was gunned down with the 3 gang members standing over him. They proceed to kill him. Returning to our wraparound story in the before we get there, thoughts on this story. After rereading, this might be my favorite one. I like the whole laboratory. I love the whole mix of like, you know,
Dr. Frankenstein
meets
Clockwork Orange.
Meets Clockwork Orange. Meets
and she's even named
Boys in the
Dr.
Hood
Cushing.
again.
She's even named Dr. Cushing.
Rosalind Cash.
Yeah.
She is phenomenal.
She really
in this.
is.
I love this performance by her.
Yep.
I like the guy who plays.
What else has
Crazy
she
Cat.
been in?
What has Rosalind Cash been in?
Rosalind Cash was on the Cosby Show.
Oh, you see, Rosalind doing the new movie there.
She would never drink my Kool-Aid.
Cosby wouldn't mess with Rosalind Cash.
She did a lot of television, Rock, Fresh Prince. She was on.
Okay.
Oh, Rock. I remember that show.
Different World, China Beach, 227. Just like bit parts in a lot of things.
Okay.
She worked pretty consistently. Family Ties, L.A. Law, Corbin Burns.
With Corbin. Oh, see, it all goes back to that.
Knight Rider, Hill Street Blues.
Knight Rider.
Just a lot of
television
small parts in
character
television.
actor. Yeah.
She was in a movie with Yaphet Kotto, A House Divided, Denmark. Our boy, my boy. I love Yaphet.
Oh, Yaphet's great.
If he's in a movie, I gotta talk.
How come they don't freeze it?
You know, this is the first time I ever watched it the other day where I thought to myself that maybe he is being offered a chance at redemption and she is the anti-Clarence Williams.
Yeah.
She is like, I don't know, God or an angel or whatever, and this is her, okay.
She's the other Clarence.
She's the other Clarence. I'm going to give you a chance to kind of, kind of redeem yourself and find yourself in a better place.
That the first experiment when he's with the white supremacist and he talks about how you kill all these black people and he asks him what color are the people you killed.
Yeah,
and it's black. You know, the whole idea of black on black crime.
Again, that's what this movie does so good. It's not just about white versus black. It reminds you, well, you have black people killing black people too. I mean, there is. It's just no pun intended. It's not as black and white as it's.
And I love the
there
part
many
where
areas
he starts seeing the old victims.
Oh, that's great. Well, so we go back to that little girl, right? We talk about these acts of violence that children are involved in. We think they're desensitized, but when he sees her and she has her story, I was just in my room playing in the Bullet. You can actually see some humanity in Crazy K. He's like, he doesn't know how to explain it. A bullet doesn't have a name on it.
He's just lying to himself.
He's trying to justify. It's an awesome performance. Yeah, this one would have to be my favorite. The more we talk about it, I think I'm going to have to go with this one.
And it's funny because I couldn't, when I was trying to think about all the segments to get ready for the show, I couldn't really remember much about this
that one. Yeah.
But now, like as you were reading the synopsis, I was like, oh yeah, all right,
yeah, it is. It's very really heavy.
It's the most visually striking.
Oh
segment.
yeah, it's very intense.
The laboratory is awesome.
Yeah, the lab is awesome.
You've got computers
sexy
in there.
nurses with the fucking leather, rubber, whatever.
And these huge machines that look like they're right out of the 30s.
Right, but the medieval torture chamber, stone castle setting, and it's awesome. It's really, really good. But again, the way it ends, did it really happen? We want to think it did, but is it all in his head? Is he or what would have happened if he had stuck out that last experiment instead of trying to break free? Would there have been redemption? That's that open answer, open question stuff that I love.
That's what
open-ended stuff.
That was the first time I'd ever had that thought. I just was just in his head that whole time, and he's reflecting, and she is his conscience, and then that scene with the white supremacists is really, really kind of intense. He's trying to hold a mirror up to this kid and kind of reflect on what he's doing. I guess I push back a little bit on certainly the violence as a whole and what they are doing and how they lie to themselves as far as like the innocent victims who get caught up in this violence and the gang culture of, well, you killed one of my guys, so I got to kill one of your guys. So you're going to kill one of my guys, so I'm going to kill one of your guys, and we're going to just keep doing this back and forth.
That's the
and
Chicago
then we forget,
way.
and then we even forget who the first two guys who died were. Because that was like 30 years ago, but we still hate each other, and we don't know why. And I think, that's certainly something that's still fairly prevalent in America as far as like gang culture, gang violence. The idea of black on black crime, though, I think we forget that crime is about proximity, right? And so you have these people in these areas that are poor and they don't have much, and drugs are put into their communities and guns are put into their communities, like black poor black people don't make guns. Poor black people don't grow poppy fields and make heroin. They don't, but it finds their way into these poor neighborhoods, and these things are kind of a result of it. And the idea of I love the little girl because it's the idea of like this young girl who lives in this situation that could be there's something good there, that even people that live in those communities that are faced with violence don't want to see the violence either. They want something to be done about it, something positive to come out of it. And it's hard to kind of separate those two things. The people who live in the I always like there's like a Tupac interview where he says like, you think we like living next to the drug dealers? We're afraid of them too. Right. But I happen to live next door to him. You guys live in a different neighborhood. So you assume we're all friends and family and cousins. And maybe in some instances, yes, but then there are the instances where like, no, I'm definitely afraid of the people who live in my neighborhood. They're not good people. Yes, we are all the same, ethnicity or race or whatever, but there's still that kind of thing that gets lost.
And that subject's brought up in New Jack City.
Oh, yeah. Like the preacher, idolater. Oh, my God. What's that actor's name? Is it Tony?
Oh God, I don't.
That's all right.
I don't know. Yeah,
I'm gonna look it up because that's my job.
That is your job.
It's a great story. It's a really.
It's one of the more.
It's there. Life is complicated.
It is,
and it's sad too because
ideas.
This was like the one part of the movie where you thought there might be a chance of redemption.
Yeah, you're hoping for
nobody else.
That little
story
girl
ended
was the chance.
Yeah,
I think and he was starting to realize it. And unfortunately. He blew it. You blew it.
And he plays that gangbanger so well, but he's also like flirting with this line of like kind of being like sympathetic.
Yeah.
Like you could see like if he does make the turn, he could be a good guy, like the actor.
And you want him to.
Like the actor looks like he would be like a good person in real life. Like he'd just be like a nice guy.
Yeah.
Right.
He looks like a nice guy.
Minus those sideburns.
So that's the least believable thing about this story is the fact that he shaved the letter K into his forehead and he grew those chops.
Yeah.
I was like, even in the 90s, I don't know if I'm buying that one. Yeah, it was I was like, yeah, those sideburns are no joke.
I love the video montage too. Again, the Clockwork Orange.
The fucking pictures of like the actual pictures of just like people like being hung
lynched.
from trees, and they're playing. Dude, my mom loves Billie Holiday, and I listened to a lot of Billie Holiday growing up. And I never understood Strange Fruit, and it wasn't until I was older that I did. But it always felt just like this really nice, fun. Then their eyes, like I would hear that song all the time, and then it's just like
behind it,
right. And then it's kind of amazing, and she has this very like pop appeal. People like Sam Cooke were like that too, or
I love Sam Cooke.
Yeah, right. He has this great pop appeal, but some of his best stuff is like the live stuff where he's doing it in like the club in Harlem, and he's just like going for it.
Yeah.
But that song is playing in the background for most of that story, and it's just like this amazing, like, don't you understand like where you came from? Essentially, is what he's telling Crazy K.
Yeah.
Like, don't you know what we've been through? Like, we have to do better. That's that's the story. Is like we have to do better.
All right, so returning to our wraparound story in the mortuary, we see that Bulldog, Ball, and Stack are rattled by the last story, enough, in fact, to hold Mr. Sims at gunpoint. As we learn, it was the three of them who killed Crazy K, and were also the three gunned down by police, which they eventually find out after Mr. Sims leads the three to the coffins where he claims the drugs are. What the three find, however, is not the shit, but that they're in deep shit. They see their bodies in the coffins, and that they are in fact
that's he has them open the coffins one by one.
This is the shit. No, what is how does he say it?
This
mortuary.
is no mortuary.
This ain't the Terror Dome either. Welcome to hell, motherfucker.
And then that forked tongue comes out
right
between the gap in his teeth.
Oh God, those teeth, man! They just add to it.
It's just every once in a while, I felt like Rusty Cundieff was like, "What silly thing can I do here?
Yeah,
let's make the tongue come through his
nice
teeth."
silly cartoon tongue.
Yeah,
which looks great and ridiculous at the same time.
Oh yeah,
but. You don't even care at that point because you're sold. You figured out the ending. You figured out what's awesome about it. You don't care that tongue's cartoony.
No, not at all. I think it's I think it's fun.
And we find out that Mr. Sims is in fact the devil, and that's the end. They're burning in hell, and he's all
he
deviled up.
transforms into the devil himself, and
them dancing in fire is hilarious. If you look really close at them dancing in the fire, it's fucking hysterical.
It totally is.
They're just like shaking like they're fucking.
Well, the budget was all blown on David Allen Greer's like twisting. I'm convinced they went because that
was a
going
good
back
effect.
to that's an awesome effect.
Fantastic.
Walter's crumpling up the paper and David Allen Greer's arms twist. That's awesome. He's all pretzel-y and whatnot.
Up
and it looks good. But that's it. After that, you like that. You
the
gotta
devil
get,
makeup
you gotta
is
get a
pretty
weak
good
ass
though.
fire.
The devil makeup's pretty good.
Awesome.
He looks good. You can still
Awesome.
recognize him as like Clarence Williams in it. Them dancing in the fire though. Every time I watch the movie, I'm like, oh, I gotta see them dancing in the fire because it's hilarious.
Your wife Sarah would be laughing her ass off.
Oh, she was.
People on fire.
She loves this movie too.
Oh, does she?
It's like that's pretending to be like bacon frying in a pan.
Yeah.
Like if I was like pretend to be bacon. Yeah, that's it. You got it.
It's like an improv class. Okay.
Yeah, right.
You're a piece of bacon. Right. You're in fire. Go.
Yeah, it's that fucking inflatable thing outside of the car dealership without the arms.
Wacky inflatable tube man.
Yeah, they're just flailing around. It's so funny.
But that's how the movie ends, and closing thoughts for me. This movie is awesome. I said all I need to say about it, but I love the performances. I love Clarence Williams III. I think he's an awesome actor. Yeah. Anyhow, I've seen him in Twin Peaks, Law and Order, Mod Squad. I mean, the dude was just an awesome actor. Yeah. This is the most comedic I've ever seen him in, and I don't know if he has
certainly
done more
seems to have a
comedy.
lot of fun doing it.
Huh?
Have you seen Half Baked?
See, I haven't seen Half Baked.
Oh my god, he plays a drug dealer named Samson.
Well, now I'm going to see it.
He's hilarious.
I honestly have never seen it. No,
it's not a great movie. Not a great movie.
Probably
he's very funny, though.
I'll see it just for him.
He essentially is playing Mr. Sims as a drug dealer.
Okay.
Dave Chappelle and
Jim Brewer.
Yeah, right.
Stephen Wright is in it. Harlan Williams. It's got its moments.
Cool. Well,
but he's
you
very
sold
funny.
Me with
he's
Clarence
very funny.
Does he make this movie? Probably. For me, he does. I still think it's a great movie without him, but I don't think it would be as good without him hosting it.
Yeah.
I think he just again with the sequels. I've only seen part of the second one. I love Keith David, but neither the movie nor he hold a candle to what Clarence Williams III does with this film.
Well, you need a good crypt keeper.
You do.
You need a good to keep you invested in between stories.
And he is top notch from start to finish. I love everybody in this movie. I love all the stories. We've talked about how thought-provoking it is, all the underlying issues and relevance, but it's also just a fun film to watch.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not, the scares are not... It's not a scary movie. The real stuff is scary when we think about it, but at face value, it's not a scary movie, but it's a fun one. And that's my 2 cents.
Mm-hmm.
Derek?
I agree. It's an overall awesome movie. Great storytelling, great fun, and it's a good lesson. Good lessons throughout, and that not necessarily hitting you over the head with it, but make you think after the fact, which is always good.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people, I mean, when they're tuning into a movie, or unless it's a documentary or something or a biopic, like they want to be entertained. They don't want to be lectured to. They don't want to be preached at. And I think a lot of the stuff that is happening now is putting the message before the entertainment, and it just doesn't work because
as opposed to
as opposed to everybody talks about SJW in comic books now. I said no, it's always been around. Look at Neil Adams and Denny O'Neil. Green Arrow, Green Lantern, tons of political stuff in there, but sprinkled in there with an entertaining story, and that's the way to get people to think.
Yeah, I think it's tough with films like this, or even films that deal with like very tricky social issues. It's the middle ground. It's the middle people that I feel like the direction should go to. Because the people who are just think however they think in whatever that way, however they feel about certain groups of people, that if they're like really steadfast on that shit, then they're not going to see this anyways. Yeah, it's like the people who turned on Disney, who are just like, they're putting lesbians on Disney, and it's like, so what? Like
it's not harming you any.
Yeah, right. Who's it really affecting? It's like you already feel that way. That's not going to change you,
right?
But I think the people in the middle who are willing to kind of, or who don't know which way they feel, or are the like, what's the black officer in that complacency, where you just kind of sit and you're just kind of letting it all go past you.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I'm I'm not racist. I'm not homophobic. I'm not transphobic. I'm just here. I don't have a problem with any of these people. I'm just trying to live my life the best I can.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, I don't want to say you got to take a stand, but you have to like get involved a little bit, whether it's like with your friends or your family or your children. Like, it's hard to have these conversations.
Right.
But like at the end of the day, you can always like come back to your family and still be family after those hard talks, right? And then maybe it gets better from that point on. But I think it's more that middle ground that you're kind of trying to sway one way, or at least get them to think a little bit more about what they're seeing, what they're hearing.
No, I agree with you.
Great movie,
on
though.
that.
And I will say about the movie specifically, let's talk about the movie specifically. I like the stories so much and the idea of them so much. I forgive, like I said earlier, because some of the acting I don't think is as strong as it could be.
Yeah.
But it's still a fun movie.
Yeah.
And the stories are fun. So, and I've always loved it. So yeah, it's got that thing where I'm just like, yeah, it's fun. I'll let some of this stuff go sometimes.
Well, I think some of that stuff breaks up a lot of the
tension
like
of some of the subject matter.
You know?
Yeah,
it would
sure.
be too depressing, too serious,
Yeah.
and you wouldn't be able to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Right.
Brian, what do you think about this movie?
I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Brian's thinking of all the editing.
No,
Tell me about it, but like in your Bill Cosby. I want you to.
I thought this movie did tackle the social issues without beating you over the head like I would do with Theo. See,
Pull your pants up, you hooligans. Go to college and get yourself a degree.
Hey, he couldn't read, remember?
Get yourself a degree. There's a Spanish fly in the ladies will just drop, pass out right in front of you.
Where the hell did Sandra come from? She wasn't in the first couple seasons. I have kids when I don't even know I have them.
I tell Vanessa I love her, but it's not true.
She's not my real daughter.
Nobody loves Vanessa.
I never touched that woman.
These are Brian's thoughts. we are conveying Brian's
thank you for hijacking
thoughts.
Sorry, Bill Cosby.
Go ahead, Brian.
Sorry, Bill Cosby. No, I did. I like this movie a lot. Like I said, I was late to the party for this one. You guys introduced me to it just recently. But I'll definitely watch it again. It's entertaining. It's thought-provoking. Like I said before, it walks that fine line of exposing you to these social issues without beating you over the head. It does a really good job of walking that line. And like I said, it's just a bunch of morality plays done Twilight Zone style, and I love all the little twists and turns, and all the stories are winners. So yeah, those are my 2 cents.
Awesome.
So last thing, it flies. It
does.
Another thing about
really
the actual
does.
movie, you're not like it doesn't drag at all.
It's like an hour and a half, but it feels like an hour.
They
It does.
knock
Boom.
it out of the park.
Quick and to the point.
Yeah.
Another plus for me. We don't fuck around in my house. Let's get this
Which is
movie
impressive.
going.
It's I mean, like, I think it's harder to write a short story than it is to write a long one because you have to fit in.
Yeah.
You know, your whole story.
You have to do a little bit of character development. You gotta.
So to fit such great stories in such a short amount of time with that amount of great underlying lessons. So
this wraparound is very complete to me too.
Yes.
Where I feel like in some anthologies the wraparound isn't as complete.
Yeah.
It's a little weak. Yeah.
Yeah.
but
This is
wasn't.
just giving you a full all the way through.
Very
gives you a
powerful.
full-
Like
Equally
Dark
as
Side.
powerful as the story.
Tales from the Dark
Tales
Side.
from the Dark
There's,
Side.
it's a lot of filler. Like we have time for one more, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
Yeah. Okay. You're just stopping that. You know, the bad guy.
Yeah.
and-
You're stalling for time.
Yeah.
And
With more
padding or
stories.
quote unquote padding the film.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's got a twist within a twist too.
Yeah.
At the end, there's two twists.
That's
It's,
right.
Oh, we killed Crazy K, and Mr. Sims
yeah.
is the devil.
Yep.
So that's a double whammy.
Yeah,
right
that's
there.
right.
Take that, Shyamalan. So, so thank you, Jimmy Hamill. Thanks for this request. This one's for you, pal. And it was good talking about this. Like I said, I saw this movie with Jim long ago, and we were fans, and we were going around school going, the shit. Ah, yes, the shit. You know, and that's what I took away from this. I said, oh, Jesus was. Boy, was
the looks you used to get in the hallway.
Oh, God. I'm amazed I'm alive.
And then you started saying the shit. It got even worse.
The shit. The drugs. The do. Oh, do. Oh, God. We'd make each other laugh. All right, Jim, that's for you. Hey, guys, what's making your geek flag fly? Brian.
I have been revisiting this show that I discovered during the pandemic, and it's called The Goes Wrong Show. And if you guys haven't heard of this, it's a British show. 6 episodes in the first season. The second season, I don't believe is available in the States yet.
I love British television. They
you would love this because it's
seasons.
called The Goes Wrong Show. It's basically a company of actors, and each episode is them putting on the play of the week, televised. So it's in front of a studio audience.
Yeah.
And just like the title says, everything goes wrong. From people not remembering their lines, to sets built wrong, to props failing, to scenery falling down on all around them, and everything that
and
could go
they're
wrong.
all in on it, but the
no
audience isn't. Or?
Well, yeah. I mean, the plays are written like that.
Yeah.
The stories are written like that. It's hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. They also did 2 hour-long episodes. One's called A Christmas Carol Goes Wrong, and the other one's called Peter Pan Goes Wrong. So they, in the Christmas Carol one, they hijack a actual BBC production of A Christmas Carol with Derek Jacobi as Scrooge, and they basically take over the play, but in true to the series, everything goes like disastrous.
So it's telling me it's free on Tubi. Is that where you watched it?
I watched it on YouTube, but then I ended up buying the series on Amazon.
So it says YouTube free, Tubi free, Vudu free.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I knew it was on YouTube.
And then Amazon Prime you can pay for.
Yeah,
I think it's like per episode or.
I got the whole series for $10.
I found it on. I found it on the Roku channel, which is a free app, which is like Freevee.
It is,
That's where I went.
Yeah, it's available free a lot of spots, but for whatever reason, there's 2 seasons, but only the first season is available right now anywhere.
And those 2 hour-long specials.
And the 2 hour-long specials are on YouTube
right?
that I've seen. Yeah, the Christmas Carol and the Peter Pan one.
Oh, I love
hilarious,
British
absolutely
TV too.
hilarious.
Yeah.
There's the best episode. I'm not going to spoil too much of it, but the best episode in the first season is called 90 Degrees, and it has to deal with a Tennessee family. They're a rich family. Their father is like an iced tea magnate, and the kids are scheming because he's dying. They're scheming for his fortune, and it opens with the director, explaining to the audience what the play's about, and he says, "We have hit a bit of a snag this week because when our technical crew saw that the play was called 90 Degrees, they thought that had something to do with the set, so they built some of the sets at 90-degree angles. So he said we had to do some clever positioning of the cameras. So like gravity in this one plays a big part, and it's a scream." An absolute scream. Another thing, because I mentioned it to Mark was the one that told me about Noises Off. He said, if you like that, then you have to see Noises Off, which I did. And I loved it. I loved Noises Off.
That's funny. You're saying The Goes Wrong Show now.
Exactly. Everything goes wrong with the play. So I like that. That's the other part of my geek flag. And I also saw Violent Night last night with my dad.
I've heard it's
awesome.
I've
it was
heard
awesome.
nothing but good things about
and
it.
I watched Fat Man before that.
I've heard that's awesome too.
That's
Mel Gibson?
Mel Gibson.
As Santa, right?
As Santa.
Santa Claus.
Yes, it's very similar to this one.
Is that old?
Only by 2 years.
Yeah.
It came out just before the pandemic, I think.
Yeah, I'm going to check that out this weekend.
That is on
Peacock?
Peacock.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it's on Peacock. Thank you, Tito.
Yeah. Oh, I do remember this.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, very
Oh,
good.
is that
I recommend that one too.
Walton Goggins.
Yes, Walton Goggins
That's
plays the bad
fucking
guy.
Oddball. He's such an oddball.
I love
He's in Grand.
He's awesome.
Grand Theft Auto 5.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's one of the main 3 guys
Uh-huh.
that are in that storyline. He's hilarious.
His teeth are insane.
Yeah.
His eyeballs are insane.
Walton Hateful Eight.
Remember him in
Goggins?
House of a Thousand
So
Corpses?
good.
He's fucking hilarious in that.
Great actor.
Yeah, so those are mine.
I'm gonna jump in on this one for mine because I have that for my geek flag as well. You
Which one?
turned me on to the show. The show goes wrong.
The Goes Wrong show.
The Goes Wrong show. Excuse me, and that was awesome.
Yeah.
So I watched a number of episodes. I haven't seen them. I saw the horror one, The Lodge. Oh, The Lodge
Oh,
had
my
me
God.
cracking up.
That's
so
the first one.
I'm going to back up what you said. Definitely see this show. It is hilarious.
How long is
Laugh
each episode?
out loud.
Half an hour.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. It's
okay.
a half an hour.
British television.
Yeah.
Right up your alley.
Yeah, 6
Tito.
half-hour episodes, Tito. You'll love it.
Amazing cast, a lot of fun, and you can watch them again and again. And
Oh, yeah.
I plan to.
Yeah.
So.
Like, you know all the gags.
Those type
Yeah.
of shows.
You know all the gags, and it still never gets
What was the
not
other
funny
one
for me.
that you I think it was you that turned me on to it. The one with where his name's Nate something. It's on HBO, and he like sets up fake.
Oh no, that was Tito.
No,
was it Tito?
Was you Tito? Oh, the Nathan for You guy.
Yes.
No, but not that one. It's the other one.
What was the other one that he did?
The like
where he sets up everything.
The practice or
the audition? No, not the audition. The
it might be
the rehearsal.
The rehearsal.
It's the rehearsal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So you saw that?
That's what it's. Yeah. It sounds like it's that type of show.
But no.
I love those types.
But it is, but it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a total farce. It's absolutely.
I agree. It's fucking hilarious. I hope they do more of them because they are hysterical.
Nice.
Derek,
check it out. I watched the A Christmas Story on HBO.
Oh, is it called A Christmas Story Christmas?
Oh yes, A Christmas Story Christmas. Yeah. I loved it. It should have been in theaters. I think they did a really, really awesome job with it. It's a good Christmas movie. It's nothing like Christmas Story 2.
Thankfully,
they brought back a bunch of the people of the original characters.
I was looking at the IMDb and I was like, the guy that did porn, they brought him
back?
Yeah,
he's in it. He's in it.
Flick.
Yeah. No, it wasn't Flick. It was the
Schwartz.
No, it was Flick.
No, it was Flick.
Flick
You're right.
did porn.
Schwartz was the one that I always thought. Like
Flick is the one that stuck his tongue to the.
Flick is the one.
Yeah, that's the one.
And then he
was in the toy.
The toy. Oh my god! I want the
Your
band.
name's Masturbates. Your name's Masturbates.
Sorry, Derek. Continue.
Melinda Dillon is retired from acting. She's the only one that didn't return. So Julie Haggerty from Airplane plays the mother, and she nails it. She's got all the nuances. It's funny in all the right spots. It does enough callbacks that aren't in your face, kind of eye rolling callbacks. The main gist of it, and this is the thing too. It's a little endearing. It's heart. It pulls at the heartstrings because it's focusing on. He gets a call from his mom that the old man has passed right at Christmas. So he and his family pack up and they go to spend Christmas with her. And he's trying to live up to that image of the old man. And the story, the original Christmas story was him telling the story about how his dad was so awesome at Christmas and made it so special for them. And it was awesome. I was so surprised.
Did he direct it?
Did
he write it? The Ralphie, because I know
Peter
Billingsley.
Peter
Billingsley.
I don't know. I think he produced it. I don't know if he directed it. He might have.
Because him and Favreau are like besties, and they do a lot of dope shit together.
He produced the first Iron Man movie.
And he was in it.
Favreau. Yeah, and he was in it.
And he's had roles in movies, but he needs to act more because he was really good in this.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he's saying he's playing a character that he played. He's really good in it. And
you can always see the dirt bike kid.
That's right. That's right. Messy Marvin. He was Messy Marvin. Do you remember those commercials?
Messy? No.
No,
I don't.
Wow. Those went back to the early '80s too. And
can I tell you that I used to love that movie, and then TNT or TBS started playing it 24 hours a day.
Yes, you had said that. You hate that movie.
Now I hate it.
Yeah.
I fucking hate it.
I watch it once, twice a year.
Even, so he narrates a lot. He does the same type of narration.
So he plays
as
like the Gene Shepherd.
Yeah.
But it's so funny because his voice matches. Like at the very end, it kind of as the credits start, it kind of fades into the old the end of the old movie.
Yeah.
With them running across the street in the snow, it goes into the old narration and. Holy shit! His voice sounds just like
Gene Shepherd.
It's great.
That's cool.
So yeah, it's definitely worth checking out.
I do want to see it.
He produced it.
Yeah.
He did produce it.
Give it a shot. It's great.
Bunch of stuff.
Cool.
It's really good. That's all. That's all I've had time for.
I saw. I kept hearing so many good things about Wednesday that I watched it this past weekend.
Really good.
And it's a fun show.
Yeah,
That's a real fun show.
Yeah.
And I was actually listening to our episode. I think was it last week's when I think you were talking about Wednesday,
Yep.
and I really like Luis Guzman, so I think he's not as debonair as
he's
I
not.
would like him
And that's
to
the
be.
thing. He's not supposed to be.
He's not supposed to be.
The original
Okay.
Charles Addams comic strip. If you look at the illustrations, he's this obese.
Yeah, an obese Peter Lorre type figure.
He really is.
But
not very Peter Lorre.
Yeah.
But not as So I feel like you could still look like that and still have some kind of charisma.
Yeah.
He doesn't necessarily sell me on the fact that he could end up with Morticia.
Yeah.
Right.
But I really like that they're. I like how there are consequences, and they're worried about the consequences, but they're not worried about the consequences. Because like, 'cause you could die, and it's like that's terrible. But then it's like, but the Addams would love something like that. Yeah. So then it like kind of twists on its head. But I think she's friend of the show, Jenna Ortega. Yeah. She is really, really good. They're really, really good.
We got to get her on the show.
Yeah,
really
we need Jenna. We need you.
Come back, Jenna. Come back.
And it's fun. It's really, really fun. And then I watched the first 2 episodes of Willow.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, I really like it. I was
did
surprised
too.
at the.
I forgot to mention that too.
Comedy?
I had even just written it down that I had just watched.
There's like intentionally funny things added, which I was a little bit surprised for.
Well, the original movie had a little bit of comedy.
It is funny. I don't know why I wasn't expecting it to have comedy.
I like that they're not the Flash from the Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
He's in it, but he's not the comic relief.
No,
like he's kind of like a serious, almost you feel bad for him. He's kind of like sympathetic.
Yeah. He's like the cowardly
which
lion
I'm glad
type.
because I hate him in the Spider-Man movies.
Oh, he's awful. He plays,
Tony Revolori is his real name.
They're all really good, and even I guess who was the guy with the big fucking butcher knife.
Oh yeah, with the long black hair.
Yeah, I think he's really, really cool. Really
me
fun.
too.
Kind of playing that Mad Mardigan role.
Yep.
I love that the kids, they look like Joanne Wally and Val Kilmer.
Yeah, like their kids. And Warwick Davis is doing really, really good. And there's like a callback to his daughter, which that scene I thought was like
that's his real daughter. The girl that played it. Yeah, that's his real daughter in real life.
Really?
Yeah.
That makes me like it even more. Because I was like, oh, that's not the little girl actress grown up.
I know. And I was kind of sad that they didn't bring back his wife in the movie because she's still alive. So, I mean, like, they could have.
Yeah.
Did she not want to do it? Or
maybe.
does nobody know?
Or they just, it would have been too much exposition, I guess, or something.
I mean, they show his daughter, they show him, and there's like the connection.
Mims.
Like, Mims remembers her as being a baby. And it's very, I think I can't wait to see more.
Yeah. Is it Wednesdays for this one? So there should have been a new one today, right?
Yeah. I can't wait to see more.
I do want to see that.
I'm
going to see Wednesday as well. My daughters and my wife are watching it, and they really like it. So, and I'm told I'll like it.
Yeah, you will.
Fred Armistice as Uncle Fester.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God, he's great.
Awesome. Yeah.
He shaved his head for the role. And it was just a one episode thing. He actually shaved his head for it.
Commitment.
I thought he was fantastic.
He is. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Cool.
Awesome geek flags, everybody.
All right.
Yeah. I finally saw something new.
Good job. Good man.
Yeah, I did
Good
it.
man.
Yeah.
Just for you guys.
Yep. And then you went and you turned on Fast and the Furious.
And then Yep.
So if you want to search for the episode that we had with Jenna Ortega.
Oh, yeah.
Which one, Derek? We had like 3 in a row.
Yeah.
Right?
You want to check out that
Where can they go?
trilogy? You want to hear more recommendations? That's right, Derek. Where can they go?
They can go to www.3gdpodcast.com. That's www.3gdpodcast.com. And as Derek and Mark said, you'll be able to find our past episodes there, as well as our email links, links to rate and review the show, because if you would be kind and leave us a 5-star rating and a little review, it helps to bump us up the charts. Don't know why it does, but it does, and it makes it easier for new listeners to find us when they're doing a search. Also, there are, most importantly, one-click buttons where if you're not already a subscriber, please smash one of those buttons where you will be able to subscribe to us through the podcast platform of your choice, and you'll be sure to never miss an exciting new episode. Our social media links are there as well. Blogs about your dads, us
And
meaning
your
us, not your dads, but us, your
but
dads.
your moms for sure. Right? Wrong. I was wrong. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
Only Jenna Ortega, too. Though. Only Jenna Ortega.
Come home, Jenna. Come home.
And I think that's pretty much it, gentlemen. If I missed anything. Oh, our Ko-fi page.
Yeah.
Thank you, Derek. Ko-fi. Please leave...
You always make me look like the money-hungry guy.
No. You're
Tell him about the money.
You're the
Tell him
memory
about
guy.
Ko-fi.
You're the memory guy. So much to remember. I should just keep the webpage open so I
Buy
can
a
just see
cup
everything.
of coffee and give us money, man.
Yes, we have a Ko-fi page linked to our website as well. So if you would like to leave a small donation, it would be greatly appreciated because it helps keep this little show going. And I believe that's
everything.
So thank you all for listening.
Thank you, guys. And thank you once again, Jimmy Hamill. Buddy, for requesting
thanks,
this
Jim.
episode. Awesome topic. We have one more request episode left next week, and then we're going to dig into some holiday fun the next couple episodes to ring out this season of cheer and jeer and whatnot. So until next time, for Three Geeky Dads, I am Mark.
I'm Derek.
I'm Brian.
I'm Tito.
I'm saying keep watching the skies, because maybe next week I'll have my shit together. Take care.
The shit.
The shit.
Ah, yes. The shit.
Goodbye. God bless. And come back, Jenna.
God bless us,
Come home, yes.
Come
Jenna.
home, Jenna.
Jenna, come home.
Whatever, Russ. Whatever.
Can't see the line, can you, Russ? Oh, Mary's my name. No shit.
Things were in hooder than they hotter than they are.
I think that is. I think you Tito's gift. Tito and yours.
I thought you guys gifts.
No, you don't have to.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
No,
You
I
just said
just do. I was gonna anyway.
I didn't know this was a thing.
No.
Well, you weren't here last year.
I always.
Why? We never told you.
Yeah.
We weren't gonna. I wasn't gonna get you jack shit. Now
Yeah.
I
would
have to.
prefer, you know.
Jesus.
It's called Secret Satan. You don't know who.
Secrets, yeah.
Just the theme of tonight's movie. Welcome to Three Dyslexic
I'll
Dads.
get you a stick of Freedent gum.
I don't know if I've ever had freedom.
Well, if you ever went to a racquetball club with your mom, then you had Freedent gum.
Did you go to racquetball clubs with your mom?
I did.
I love racquetball.
I never played. I was
Why
too
not?
young.
Oh, too young.
She went with her friends.
That was always
racquetball.
that's the worst.
Yeah.
When your parents take you to
all the
things
milfs
that you
were
can't
hitting
do.
on young Mark.
No, I was too young to be hitting on. They'd go to jail. I was very young.
Some of them don't care. Some of them, they're repressed.
Yeah.
I was but they'd always have like movies going on the TV, and I'd sit there, and my mom and her friends would play racquetball, and that's it. But there was always Freedent gum. Every mom had a fucking pack of Freedent gum. Freedent gum.
I thought it was Trident.
No, there's Freedent too.
There's Freedent.
Yeah. Yeah, there was Trident first,
assure
and
you
then
it's
Freedent
don't
came
be
out.
like that
Maybe it
French
was
guy who's denying the
racquetball.
pickle. It's-
Maybe it was a racquetball.
Remember
court
Big Red?
special.
Try racquetball.
So
I'd like to
kiss
play
a little
racquetball.
longer.
Yep.
Hold tight a little.
That's
longer.
Big Red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the freedom song?
They never had one.
Give it to Mark. That was it, right?
He's sitting alone. Give him some gum.
Keep him occupied.
I need a drink.
He'll
Give
stop
him some
playing
gum.
with his bone.
I was.
Racquetball's code for getting hammered.
Keep
All
him
right, Mark,
occupied.
sit here. We're gonna go play racquetball.
Big
Here's
air
your
quotes right
Freedent
there.
gum.
Here's some freedom gum. Yeah.
Here, enjoy.
Don't eat it all. We're gonna be a
Watch
while.
watch Star Wars on the big TV.
Mommy needs a piece or two, so just in case she gets pulled over later, they don't smell it on her breath.
No, you could see them playing racquetball.
Oh, you
Yeah.
They didn't go into another
The
room.
racket in one hand and
This
a
was the
drink
80s,
in the other.
but they weren't that neglectful. It wasn't like
total
Joe Beth
70s.
Williams fucking
taking off.
Getting stoned had been.
Yeah, fucking neglectful parenting. Yeah, the more I thought about it, the
They
more
were all in the same house.
I
It's
wanted
fine.
it.
I like to-
Tweety's box smells
I like she
funny.
walked
That's what
out of
she
the
said.
house.
You came to her defense way too much, man. Her
She's
and
awesome.
Zelda. They both. The more I think about it,
Zelda.
the more they suck.
What a gem she is.
They both sucked.
Who
They
sucked?
sucked
Zelda?
at what they did. Joe Beth Williams sucked at being a
Oh,
mom.
She was good
And
at
Zelda sucked as a
everything she
cleaner.
did.
She was good at looking.
Oh no, the
Standing.
cleaners!
All right, let's do this. It's 8 o'clock. I gotta watch fucking Sharkenstein.
Oh, that's right. Okay, let's do it.
Here we go. Jesus Christ.
Go ahead. Does Brian know his
Oh,
line?
Yeah. I
we
think
have a
you're
dad
right.
joke too,
Yeah,
right?
We're
Okay.
ready to go.
Okay.
I'm ready when you're ready. Are you ready?
Yeah, you're starting.
Oh yeah, no, I know. I just want to be sure
I'm
you
ready.
were ready to receive.
Oh, I'm ready, baby.
Giving. Are you
Oh, should I
ready to
turn around?
receive? Jesus. That's a gay joke.
There is a gay joke.
Oh, okay. It is soon discovered that the well-dressed black man is a city councilman named and a black rights activist. Sorry, guys, I don't know what's wrong with me tonight. I've got a disease. I had a bad experience. Try this again.
I